Hi guys, Mrs. Pine here, coming at you with another fourth grade math lesson. Right now we are in our multi-digit multiplication and division unit. So today we are just going to be doing a lesson on division. So let's jump into it. If I have a number like 48 divided by 2, okay, I am thinking in my head all about the divisor. So our divisor is 2, and that is what I'm thinking about, all the different multiples of 2. I'm also thinking about 2 groups. So 2 is our divisor. That means I am going to be splitting 48 into 2 equal groups. So I'm going to start with 48. And in my head, I'm thinking of all my multiples of 2. Like I said, 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3. And remember, if I know 2 times 2, then that means I also know 2 times 20 because I just have to add a 0 to it. So with that in my head, I know that 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 times 20 has to be 40. So I'm going to take away 40 because that's a big chunk. But I have to label it. I can prove that 40 is a multiple of 2 because it's 2 times 20. So now before I take away that 40, I'm going to take that 20 and I'm going to put it in each box because this right here says 2 times 20, which means I have 2 groups of 20. So here's my one group of 20, 2 groups of 20. Now I can go back and finally subtract. So now I have 48 minus 40. 8 minus 0 is 8. 4 minus 4 is 0, so I'm just going to leave it. Now I'm left with 8. Now I'm thinking to myself, how many times does 2 go into 8? And I know my multiplication facts, and I know 2 times 10 is 20, so anything underneath 20, I just need to remember all of my facts. And I know 2 times 4 is 8, so I'm going to stick 2 times 4. I know that's 8. That's how I'm able to prove it. I'm going to take that 4. I'm going to put it in each box. One group of 4, 2 groups of 4. 8 minus 8 is 0. I'm turning that 0 into a smiley face because I know I'm done with subtracting. And now I can look at my box. So in this box, one group was 20 and 4 more. So that means I have 24 in that group. Now I can use that group or I could use this group. But it doesn't matter because both boxes are going to give me the same thing. Both boxes are going to give me 24. So I just chose this one to add together, and that's going to give me that 24, which is my answer. So what happens, though, if there's a remainder? Because sometimes there are some leftovers and we can't have equal groups. So in that case, let's say I have 593 divided by 5. And that's what I'm solving for. Well, I know that my divisor is 5, so I'm going to need 5 equal groups. Now I have 2 options here. Option 1 is I draw out my 5 boxes, 1 group, 2 group, 3 group, 4 group, 5 group, and I can absolutely do that. But I'm to a point where I'm just going to draw 1 box because I know all 5 boxes are going to be the same thing. So now I have my 593. And in my head, I'm thinking, again, of my multiples of 5. Now, I know 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3. That's not really going to help me here because 593 is a really big number. So now I'm thinking of 5 times 10, 5 times 20, maybe even higher than that, and 5 times 100. Now, I know 5 times 100 is 500, and that would take a really big chunk out of this number. So I'm going to use it. I know 500 is a multiple of 5, and I have to prove it because that is 5 times 100. Perfect. I'm going to take that 100 and I'm going to stick it in my box because this is 5 groups of 100. Like I said, I didn't draw all 5 boxes. I just drew one so that way I can keep count of what I am adding together at the end. But if you want to draw all 5, do it. Now I can subtract because I put it in the box. 593 minus 500, well, that's going to leave me with 93. Now, I'm thinking again of all my multiples of 5. I can go through and I can go 5 times 10 is 50. I can take 50 away from here. I could go even higher. I can think of all my multiples of 5. So I might be thinking 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4. But remember, if I know 5 times 2, I know 5 times 20. And if I know 5 times 3, I know 5 times 30. And if I know 5 times 4, then I know 5 times 40. And I can keep going this way, right? So I know that 5 times 10 is 50, and I can take a big chunk out of this number with 50. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do 5 times 50. And if you can find a bigger chunk, you can absolutely do it. But you have to make sure you prove it. Now, I can't just pick a random number and say, oh, 50. Let me do 2 times 25. Wrong. I cannot make something using 2 times. No. Because what's our multiple? Our multiple is 5. It has to be a multiple of 5. So I can't do that. I have to stay with our 5 times tables. So 5 times 10. I'm going to take that 10. I'm going to stick it in the box. Now that leaves me, here we go, 95 minus 50. That's going to give me 43. Now 43 is less than 50. So now I just have to think of my multiplication facts of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Oh, I know 5 times 8 is 40. So let's take away 40. That's going to take a really big chunk out of here. So 5 times 8 is 40. You're obviously going to have a lot more space than me, so I'm going to move some of this up so you can see where I am at. And I had 43. I was taking away 40, so let me go back to that 43. I'm taking away 40. That was 5 times 8. Okay, now I have more space. 5 times 8. Don't forget, I'm taking that 8 and I'm putting it in the box before I even subtract. Now I can subtract, and I have 43 minus 4. That's going to give me 3. Now, 3 is less than my divisor. So since it is less and we cannot take 5 away from 3, it's too small, this 3 is going to become my remainder. So now I'm going to put this over here. So now I can add everything in my box. I have 100 plus 10 plus 8. That's going to give me 118. But I cannot forget about that remainder 3. So my answer, 118, R3. Our R is our leftover. Our R is our remainder. All right. I hope this was helpful. And if you need to rewatch it, do it. All right, guys. See you later.